Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Leo March 2024 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel St. James, clairvoyant. Well, we have an interesting deck this month. It's called Raphael or Raphaelite or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. I just have it wrapped up in string, and the box is long gone. And but the imagery on it is sort of Renaissance type art, which I personally like myself, and I'm sure you will as well, because you're very creative and enjoy that sort of stuff. Now, what we do have here is, and welcome back to the subscribers. Thank you for inviting me into your home. I love your company, truly I do, and who would not love your company? Now, of course, I've done a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for people from different parts of the world, a lot of Leos over the course of the last month. And if you might be interested to see what's involved in having a one-on-one clairvoyant reading with me by FaceTime or Skype from anywhere in the world, just check out the information that's in the description box below at the end of the video. Now, apart from clairvoyance as a gift that was given to me at birth, I was also given the spiritual gift of healing. Now, healing was provided to me on the basis that I get nothing in return for it. So I don't charge for healing. I don't provide... the healing comes through me and not from me, as you would understand. But I don't sell or recommend anything from myself or anybody else. You won't be talked into having a reading or anything like that. It's without any obligation. It's free. I am to provide it, and I'm happy to do so. So if you have some emotional issue or physical thing that you want to have the spirit address, then just don't be afraid to reach out. I mean, I'm supposed to use it, and I'm very happy to do so. Now, we're going to take 5 cards. 5 is all we need. Now, I think Google should have been set to make sure there's no ads in the middle of this, so that you get to enjoy the experience uninterrupted by video ads. Now, we take 5 cards. 5's all we need. We don't just spend 2 seconds on a card, do we? Oh, no. Rather, they have a lot to tell us about the cosmic energies that are swirling around you at this time. So, show me the magic. High Priestess. The 9 of Cups. That's this one here. That, I assume, is the Tower, and it is indeed. And that is the 4 of Wands. Little branches, tree branches there, you'll see in just a second. And finally there is, that looks like the Ace of Swords. So, why, no it's not, that looks like the Magician to me there. I'm going to take that as the Magician. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm just looking at, it's a lady magician, which is good to see. So, why don't you, see, I say that the images on these, on this deck is quite difficult to make out unless you can look at some of the, see what's there, because it's not, anyway, you'll get it in just a sec. I'll bring the camera around. Come and sit down here next to me. You and I can have a look at the imagery on these cards together while they speak to us both about the cosmic energies swirling around you at the moment, and I'll do the reading for you. Excellent set of cards for you. Well, you have a diagonal full of major arcana here, so why don't we go through those, shall we? And have a look first here at the High Priestess, or what I call the Priestess of the Silver Star. Now, yeah, I'm not surprised to see the moon there, because the moon is very much associated with her about going within, but it's the moon in its highest point, joining the human to the divine. Now, this is a time when you'll have access to your intuitive powers. It's a time when you'll be undergoing some healing. You will want independence. And importantly, there's a great degree of self-confidence with you at this time, because you will be discovering also your own truth. And there's an emotional stability around you as well. Now, this priestess also helps you to work out your purpose and to tap your potential. As you sort of peel back the layers of your personal veil, you move deeper into your inner self, discovering your connection to the realm of spirit and soul memory. Now she watches over the hidden knowledge, dreams, and what is beyond the seemingly obvious. She is, in a sense, the channel for universal mysteries that lay hidden behind the three veils of negative existence, as I call them. She's the link between the seen and the unseen, and she balances the polarities of the masculine and the feminine, of the light and the dark, of spirit and of matter, tapping into intuition and your inherent knowledge that lies within you. And she keeps those dualities that I mentioned in balance, understanding that the continuous cycle and rebalancing of life's forces and experiences is necessary. Now, one of her real virtues, I think, is patience. She doesn't have to push anything, and nor do you at this time. Rather, she waits in the stillness of silence, listening to the whisper of the divine. Now, with this High Priestess being here, and you having drawn it first, you realize all answers lie within you. She says, take time to meditate or to pray and dive deep into the stillness of your soul and listen to its words. Now, I think what she does also is that she is the holder of, well, what some people call Akashic records, but which can actually just be referred to as universal knowledge. And she has the gift of knowing when and how to channel into the collective memory, the memory of the past, of the present, and of the future. On the other side, you see, there is no time as we understand it. There is actually just an eternal present. But this process and this time, you are going to be guided to resolve blocks that disturb your inner peace and balance. Now, this book that she holds there, I think that holds the universal secrets, answers, and mysteries that are available to you through prayer or meditation or even dreams. So pay attention to your dreams at this time. Also, pay attention to what you receive when you get out and walk through nature and just listen to it. Really, her message is to trust your inner self and intuition. I think she's bringing harmony and balance to situations that have been disturbed. And she represents the beginning of a creative cycle. That's very much the beginning of things coming here for you, which are going to have great outcomes. And she brings time for just thinking by yourself about things and integrating those opposing aspects which lie within yourself. I think she really does say that this is a time of going within, of experiencing your dark, mysterious self and balancing that experience with your conscious self. Because understanding and honoring both realms, it can unveil the doorway to the inner oasis of your soul. I very much also have the sense that now is a time when you could start and have just a social friendship that can provide you with a lot of joy and satisfaction. And it's a time for you to work out what you really want and to let your mind process things. But you know, don't you, that changes on the inside are necessary to make changes on the outside? I think there's the need to connect and be more confident with your intuitive feminine side, and the men don't need to worry about that because we all of us have within us male and female principles. They are just generally expressed outwardly through the filters of hormones, anatomy, and psychology. I think that you now have access to your intuitive powers, so develop them more fully and guard your independence. Now, are there any areas in your life in which you allow others to influence you rather than trusting your own intuition. And I would suggest that, is this water in the background? I would suggest that you seek out water as often as you can. Listen to what water has to say and learn from it as much as you can. And say to yourself, I deeply honor and value the human being that I am. I am intuitive and perceptive. I trust myself and honor my sense of integrity. I trust my intuitive abilities. Now, we head down a diagonal, this in the center. And there are going to be some changes going on in your life, I think, but they all come out really, really well. And it's almost as if your wishes are fulfilled. Great success and happiness and joyful, emotional love. Let's unpack this first, though, shall we? This is the Tower, or the Lord of the Hosts of the Mighty. And the astrology of this is very much that of Mars. Mars in its very fiery, aggressive sense. And it is speaking to me of you at this time, a far-reaching inner transformation. It's also a period of healing for you, and the old is being destroyed to make room for the new. There is, in a sense, a spiritual renewal, and I think you're coming across self-knowledge here. There is for you a sense of, emotional release, a revelation, a breaking down of old forms or patterns, and what I would call the calm after the storm. Now, this fire, the power of the consuming, purifying fire, destroys the old in your life and sweeps it away, those things that are not serving you. Nothing will be spared. And the tower of the ego will be shaken to its very foundations. Anything you attempt to cling to will be destroyed by this transforming power. And the apparent securities, perhaps, of events, of surroundings or relationships of the past, maybe some of them begin to waver and to topple, and all that remains is trust. It's what she was talking to you about, and the knowledge that all events in life arise from the endless love of the universe and bring you the possibility for learning and recognition. Do you know, this understanding of the true nature of events, it can transform even apparent losses or painful disappointments into the valuable gifts that they really are. Times of seeming desperation and inattention, when you remove them from yourself and recognize them, they can become the basis which provide the most fruitful, growing phases of your life. This is actually the highest energy for healing. Do you know, just as the extraction of a rotten tooth provides relief for the entire body, then the destruction of stagnant situations or relationships which hinder your growth, that begins a healing process for your entire organism. Now, having a tooth extracted can, sometimes, I suppose, be painful, but when the tooth is poisoning your system, well, there really is no other choice, is there? The strokes of fate may seem equally tragic and unfathomable sometimes. Like, why have they turned up like this? Why have things come up? But they come only because you need them. And actually, you've created them for yourself, either consciously or unconsciously. If you recognize and accept these laws of the universe, well, then you possess all that you need for true liberation and total transformation to occur. So it could well be a time of some turmoil for you, as you seek to understand how you could have been mistaken about a situation or a person which you really now have to come to terms with. And emotions like anger, grief, depression, or even sleeping problems, tossing and turning, well, they could affect you. And your kind of sense of security might somehow have been shaken. And you might think that things are never going to be the same. Things are going to get better. Now, this can come about, these sort of senses, is because of relationship breakups, loss of jobs, or death of loved ones, or financial or health problems. But the important message is this, that with the destruction of the old comes the new, and you will look at life in a much more meaningful way, which is going to make you wiser. Now, I think that you are about to enter into an extremely intensive, transformatory process from the inside. And whatever is destroyed or shaken within you serves to purify you and make room for something new. So allow it. And ask yourself this, are you ready to view yourself and life with new eyes? And look at yourself in daily life. Some situations may seem to repeat themselves, but I don't think that you're going to continue to repeat old, limited, restrictive behavior patterns. And say this, who I think I am as a belief to be undone. I have the ability to heal and restore myself at all times. And as is always the case for you, that everything that happens in your life is for the best. Well, now, that other point on the diagonal, there is the magician, the magus of power, as I call it. And let's have a quick look at it, shall we? And say, a lot of Mercury around here, so you'll have a lot of ability to communicate things to people and a lot of playful dealings with communications in all sorts of forms. Now, the magus here, or the magician, I think is mostly known as, she has everything at her disposal, as you do, to be creative and to make things happen. Because in the table in front of her are the tools of life, the four suits of the minor arcana, that represent the four elements. Now, she uses these tools in her daily experiences, constantly adjusting, balancing, and refining each potential, and then looking to see how they have worked out in her life. And the more she goes through this process, the more she trusts her choices. She's sort of a conduit, I suppose, tapping into the universal forces of inspiration, wonder, and imagination. And when she receives the seed of an intention or inspiration, she works on her plan internally with a focus that's clear and decisive. And then she puts things into action with confidence and will to make sure that things can be transformed into a reality. Now, she doesn't actually hold on to this creative force for herself. Rather, she processes it and lets it go out into the world like lightning, really. Because her divine inspiration is aligned with her divine life force. And this combined energy flows through her and out into the world and manifests itself in wondrous creations. She shares the divine connection with everything. Now, this is a process that produces great achievements, both on an individual and on a collective social level, I think she also says that this is a time when you are going to be something of a visionary, and that if you tap into your potential, you are going to find that things are possible. Because this is saying, this energy, that you should pay attention to that flash of insight or inspiration and then act upon it. Because this energy is bringing the excitement that activates your life force with commitment, focus, and willpower. And she knows that what we generally know to be miracles are actually possible and do actually happen. So gather your vitality and energy. Work with your magic to turn your life around and create new goals, because you are the magician. You are constantly creating your life and your destiny, consciously or unconsciously. And what she is saying is that you should create consciously with light of love in your heart. Now claim your power. It's yours. Open your communication, a Mercury aspect between spirit and matter. Feel the force and strength that flashes like lightning of inspiration. And communicate your intentions clearly. Direct it to your world and let it blossom into its full potential. I think you really do at the moment have at your disposal brilliant capabilities which you should share with other people. And one important task is to find or to create for yourself the proper surroundings for your activities. Now, in what areas, where are your talents? Where do they lie? And with what methods and in what surroundings can you pass them on or share them? Visualize your ideal area of activity, describe it, and say this to yourself: I create magic when I use my inbuilt gifts and talents. I honor the resource of skilled communication which is with me. The full expression of my creative potential, it fulfills me and it does make me happy and satisfied. Now, what have the minor arcana's got to say? Well, why don't we stay down this line here? Where's the position of it? It's got the moon. Over here is Mercury. This is Mars. When we get up here, we've got Jupiter and Pisces energy. So that combination together gives this Venus in Aries. Venus in Aries. Well, Venus is the ruler of Libra, as you know, the cardinal sign of air. And this card's astrology is Venus coming into the third decan of Aries, which is the 10th to the 19th of April. Now, that means that Venus is 180 degrees in Libra away from an opposite, in opposition to Aries. And Venus will be in detriment astrologically in Aries. So you might think that there's some problem with that, but what I do think is that there could well be some opposites attract action going on. Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars and Venus getting together, well, at first glance, you might think that there is a problem with that. But I think that what it is doing here for you in this spread is it's saying that you might be looking twice at something or somebody that you had not really spent so much time before. Now, the number of the card is 4, and that is the number of foundation, of completeness, progress, power, and stability. I think this is here with you now a completion of something is what I see you finishing things off, tying things off before moving forward as a result of that Tower card and of all the initiative that's coming from the Magician that's here. There's a unity here, the possibility of beginnings. This is a green light to success. Now with the 4, it's the foundation of the first stage to completion. Maybe you might be thinking about setting up a new place to live. I think what you could also have is that you could have an emotional idea, which is Venus, to move off into a new direction, which is Aries. I also think it speaks to me, this energy, of the need for you to complete something despite a desire to move on to new things. Now, this might relate to something at work or to new relationships, or maybe to dynamics within an existing relationship. It can also relate to yourself, where one aspect of you, as I say, wants to head off in a new direction, whereas there are other parts of you that say, no, I want to stay where I am, or no, I want to go over there. But it is certainly the case that something beautiful is making its way into your relationships. Now, you may notice it first as the ordinary day-to-day things are called into question and they're talked about openly. You see, sorting out the old is necessary to bring about a new oneness, a new beginning. And ask yourself this question, though: are you prepared to accept your partner as she or he is, in spite of your differences? This could also be in the area of work, also, where you've got to get on with people in the work environment. And ask yourself also what areas are in urgent need of being sorted out or resolved. Now, if there is some tension between you and somebody else, now is certainly a good time to resolve and sort out those interactions and complete off the old. And say this to yourself, because it is definitely going to work for you at this time: completing the old frees me for the new. And then we go finally, I think it's finally, isn't it? Yeah, we did a diagonal, and then we come to this, which is just fantastic for you. And don't you deserve it? Now, the Knight of Cups, well, its astrology here is that of Jupiter ruling the second decan of Pisces, which is the 1st to the 9th of March. Well, do you know, that's really good, because in astrology, in classical astrology that I adhere to, Jupiter rules Pisces, and so this is a very complementary energy. And Jupiter's philosophical approach, well, it sits really well with Pisces' gentleness and spirituality. Now, Jupiter is also bringing you good luck, and Jupiter's softer concerns, such as care, compassion, the spiritual life, well, they are beautifully expressed through sensitive Pisces. There's an enormous capacity to love here, although, as is so often the case with this gift, this is often hard won through difficult times in the past, isn't it? Now, these cups are all symmetrically arranged. All is harmonious and balanced. And I don't think it will take much for these cups to overflow. Their presence in this number and the way they are set out symbolizes lots of gifts coming your way. And the influence of Jupiter in this sign of Pisces, for me, it creates more than just a mere minor affection. There's a great sense of blessedness which arises from total joy, and the quality of this joy shows that it is deeply rooted. It isn't the result of any superficial pleasure. Actually, it speaks of a bliss which derives its energy from the deepest reaches of your soul at peace. Now, this moment is filled with harmony and inner joy, so open yourself up to it totally. Don't miss out. Where do you seek and where do you find happiness? This is, after all, the Lord of material happiness. Now breathe and feel, and if you are alone, enjoy your solitude. If you are together with others, enjoy their presence. If you have a job to do, do it in silent devotion. This really talks about the fulfillment of your desires and wishes here. It's great, great energy. And say this to yourself, because it's bringing happiness with it. That happiness is my natural condition. Well, Fantastic spread of cards for you. Well done, and didn't you do a great job? Well done. Yes, you did a really good job in that reading, and what a fantastic and interesting month it looks like it's going to be for you, and don't you deserve it? It's great to see you. And you deserve all the good things in life, really you do. Now, unless I see you privately for a reading or a healing, then I'll see you again next month. And until then, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.